I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
But in the kingdom, we're going to have that power like the angels, but we're going to be what you call extraterrestrial. In other words, we're not going to be regular terrestrial like we are right now. Because what happened is, in the ancient world, we had that power. We had that power when we were on a level like gods. But what happened is, the Most High took that power from us. Over the generations and over the years, the Lord took that power from us. But we're going to get that back. We're going to get that power back coming into the kingdom.
I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord. But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither hath entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
When we think about the kingdom, most brothers think of like the small, minute terms. But the vastness of the kingdom, the greatness of the kingdom, dealing with the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and the information alone that we're going to receive when we get to the kingdom. That's on a whole nother level. Never mind the riches and the lands and the women and the children, and to be in your chariot, sipping some yayan, on your chalice, your gold chalice with all them rubies and emeralds and sapphires and the different precious stones, going to places.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither hath entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
No one, no matter how vivid a brother's imagination is, there's nothing in comparison to what's coming. You can't even imagine. You can't even paint it the picture or write it to words or give an explanation that even comes close to the majesty that's coming. We are destined for greatness in the new righteous kingdom.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither hath entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
The brother with the most vivid imagination out there can't imagine what the kingdom of heaven has in store, what it's going to be like. What we're basing the kingdom of heaven as far as riches and having a good time and things of that nature is just based off of our experiences in this world and what we think having a good time is and living the life is. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. There are pleasures forevermore at thy right hand. So the kingdom that's coming is going to be set up and established in righteousness. The Israelites are going to be changed. Thy people shall be all righteous. Not one Israelite is going to be lost, because the promise that the Most High made to Abraham was to all that seed. And the seed of the promise went from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. Every seed that came out of Jacob is a part of the ones that are going to receive the benefits that the Most High promised to blessed Abraham.
A transfer of rulership is coming, and the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down. According to the Holy Scriptures, Yahweh Shai, the Son of the Most High, is set to bring immortality to the nation of Israel, the elect, via establishing the tabernacle of David, as we talk about the second coming of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He is coming to take down this current world ruled by Esau, Edom, and establish a righteous kingdom, which is synonymous with the throne of David. That's scriptural, which is a government that's going to run this world in righteousness.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word in truth. And it's a series across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and what I want to get into, this morning, dealing with this edition of Morning News and Prophecy, all right, is people are getting ready to have to deal, okay, with the reality of prophecy, okay, and what we're seeing, you have the trend on social media, that people are claiming that 2026 is going to be the new 2016. People are trying to go back and relive a decade ago, when times were simpler. Well, you're not going to get that back, okay? And pretending, that you're in 2016 on social media, okay, is not going to hinder these prophecies from happening in real time, okay? And it shows you how childish, Western society is, okay, that they don't want to deal with reality, okay, and how delusional and detached they are, from reality, okay? And it shows you how childish they are, okay? Their mindset is to go back to a simpler time using social media, okay? When you have real times that's coming to America, man, you having real severe, austere, hard times that's coming to America, man. And the scriptures say the worst time since the earth, existed is coming, all right? And you have people trying to backpedal, okay, because it's not panning out like they thought, okay? And let's get into some precepts. I want to play that video to show you, all right, to show you brothers, you few sisters, man, how these devils, okay, these simpletons, these simpletons, okay, are trying to revamp 2016, okay, in 2026, okay, because 2026 doesn't look so bright for them, man. So this is Ezekiel 12 and 21, and I want to start off in the NLT. It says again, a message came to me from the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, son of man. You heard that proverb they quote in Israel: time passes and prophecies come to nothing. Okay, so for the longest, if the prophets have been out, prophesying, okay, what's to come, what the Lord was getting ready to do in the earth, and as the Lord has his prophets, day in and day out, week in and week out, going to camp every week, videos throughout the week, okay, things have continued on as usual, okay, but when we got to 2020, things took a drastic change, okay. This devil, went with a move, okay, to forward his new world order, all right, and we seen lockdowns. Okay, we've seen mandates. Okay, we've seen this devil push the juice, which was nothing but a death potion on the masses. Okay, you still have a ripple effect. Okay, of people checking out behind that. People's health issues. You know, certain diseases are on the uptick behind the juice. Okay, so forth and so on. So 2020 things shifted gears towards prophecy becoming more evident, man. Okay, the environment for civil unrest has increased. Civil war. Okay, racial tension. All these things have heightened. Okay, job insecurity. Job security has just been destroyed. You see, inflation. People are being priced out of living. People can't afford housing anymore. So since 2020, all right, things have taken a drastic change. Okay, and here we are, right at 6 years later, because I believe the pandemic, was the lockdowns were announced in March. It started in March of 2020. Okay, so here it is. We're in 2026, almost in February, almost exactly 6 years later. Okay, and things have gotten drastically worse, man, because these devils are dismantling this old system. Okay, and they want to set up a new. And while they're doing this, there's nothing but war tension on the horizon. Okay, at the same time. Okay, ICE, every week ICE is it seems like every week ICE is unaliving somebody. Okay, that's becoming the norm now. Okay, protests and riots. That's becoming the norm now. Okay, so 2020, set the world, especially here in America, on a trajectory to chaos. Okay, and civil unrest. Okay, poverty, homelessness. Okay, so ever since then, what we're seeing, now you have people trying to escape through social media to a simpler time. All right, and it don't work like that. Reality don't work like that. Okay, and they're gonna find out the hard way. Okay, right now what we're seeing is America in denial of decline. Okay, the American people are in denial that this place is declining and it only gets worse. Okay, and they trying to find something to be optimistic about. Okay, Ezekiel 12:23 says, "Tell the people, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I will put an end to this proverb, and you will soon stop quoting it. Now give them this new proverb to replace the old one. The time has come for every prophecy to be fulfilled." Okay, the time has come for every prophecy to be fulfilled, man. That's what we at now. These are the times that we in now for every prophecy to be fulfilled, man. And it's finna get gruesome, man. Prophecy gets gruesome. Okay? We're coming into a whole new phase of reality, man. Okay? Wishing for a simpler time in America, man. You're wishing the exact opposite of what's really about to happen. You're chasing the expectation of the exact opposite of what the Lord is getting ready to bring. Okay? So you're going to be extremely disappointed, all right, if your hope is for simpler times to come back. It only gets way worse, man. Okay, way worse, man. It's going to get way more chaotic, way more violent, way more poverty. Okay? These things are going to increase drastically, man. Okay, we just seeing things trend that way. But things are going to increase drastically towards that way, man. Okay, let's go here. I believe that. Let's see. Might be Second Peter. So you go here to Okay, that's Second Peter. So let's get this in Second Peter chapter 1. Okay, because now, all the prophets of old, now we're seeing the visions that the Lord gave them and the things that the Lord had them to write down. Now we're seeing these things with more clarity. Okay, we have a more sure word of prophecy because we're seeing prophecy happen. Okay, and now the Lord has given us the full understanding of the prophets of old because we're in the time of those prophecies being fulfilled. Okay, so now we have the clarity. So when you go on to 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 19, it said, because of that experience, we have even greater confidence in the message proclaimed by the prophets. It says you must pay close attention to what they wrote, for their words are like a lamp shining in a dark place, man. And the only way to make sense of this confusion, this mass confusion of the earth, especially here in the West, is through prophecy, man. So understanding prophecy is like a lamp shining in a dark place, man. Okay? We fully understand where we're going. We see the finish line. If we really tapped into prophecy, we should see the finish line. Esau is done. He don't have too many more moves to make. Okay? That's why wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our time. Because these people are extremely destabilized in their minds because they're confused. They don't know what to hope for. They don't know what's next. They already have this anxiety. They're depressed. Okay? They're constantly hearing AI going to replace this. They're hearing about the digital systems and the data center nightmares. Okay? The tech billionaires. And it's just so much going on. And if you're not rooted in prophecy, you're going to be extremely destabilized, man, in these times. Okay, you're going to be very unstable in the mind. Okay, but everything that we believe in is happening in real time. You see, with us, this is right on time. This is perfect the way this thing is playing out. Okay, but to someone who's in the dark, all right, and their mind is just, stuck on, trying to go back to a simple place. Okay, a simple time in America, man, you're going to be sadly disappointed. Okay, he said you must pay close attention to what they wrote, for their words are like a lamp shining in a dark place, man. And this is why, we're more tuned into prophecy than ever, man. Okay, prophecy is that light at the end of the tunnel. And we understand the prophecy of Yahweh Shah and understanding who we are. And we understand the Lord's intention, what he's doing. The Lord's getting ready to set up a righteous kingdom. So we're just watching the wicked kingdom fall. Okay? And we understand the blessings that we are, all right, the children of the promise, man. The descendants of those 12 tribes, okay, who are inheritors of the promises of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. Okay? Which comes with, immortality, rulership of the earth, joint heirs with Yahweh Shai. Forever, we know that this is the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay? But majority of the people, they don't have that viewpoint. You heathens, you're done. And 2/3 of our people, all right, they're in the double darkness, man. Okay? So, let's finish this. And it says, until the day dawns and Yahweh Shai, the morning star, shines in your heart, which is not mine. All right, because we're becoming more and more illuminated with truth, with understanding as we get closer and closer to this time. Things are becoming clearer unto us concerning the prophets of old, the things that we've been expounding on, our apostles and elders for decades, man. Okay, the things that have been coming out, and taught on and expounded on, these things are becoming clearer now. Now we see clear what it means the least of the flock shall draw them out, as we see the confrontation with the small hats in Iran and America. Okay, that dynamic playing out. God, being a guard to, to Persia. Okay, Gomar, Libya, those North, those African countries, man. understanding that Russia is Magog. Now we see Magog, his purpose is standing out more. Now we see what it looked like real time. Ezekiel 38, we're seeing what they look like real time. Egyptian against Egyptian in Isaiah the 19th chapter, we're seeing what they look like real time. It's getting more clear. Okay, so the Lord has us rooted in the understanding of this prophecy, man. Things are becoming clear for us, while everyone else is becoming more confused, more in the dark. Okay, things are becoming clear for the hopeful elect, man. Okay, so Yahweh Shai, we're constantly being illuminated, by that morning star, Yahweh Shai, man, which is going into Lucifer, which means light bearer, because Yahweh Shai is the true light bearer in righteousness, man. Esau prides himself on being the light bearer on the left hand side. Okay, but in righteousness, Yahweh Shai is the true light bearer. Okay, the true Lucifer, man, in righteousness. Okay, because Lucifer just means light bearer, man. Okay, that is not talking about spiritual demon Satan. Okay, so let's go to this. I got this video here. All right, so you got this trend with social media. All right, just show you that there's not too many adults in America, man. America are a bunch of big goddamn kids, man. Okay, but you're not going to be able to do a challenge. See, everyone's always trying to distract themselves from reality by being, entertained. Okay, and that's the mind of a child. Okay, America's not even adult enough to deal with the realities that stand right in front of them, man. Okay, so let's play this.
Celebrities and probably some of your friends sending us back to 2016 by reposting old photos on Insta.
Collectively, it's 2016 again. I'm down for it.
2016 was the greatest year in human history.
So many things happened in 2016.
2016 is trending right now. Why do you think that is?
People tend to be nostalgic when they're anxious about the future. And so I think this generation is dealing with those anxieties. And they're using nostalgia as a way to respond to them.
We just all really want to go back to simpler times, and looking back on life and nostalgia, it kind of just puts us in a safer place.
Ever since New Year's Day 2026, the hashtag 2016 has surged 450%.
And it's back. But I love 2016. I love the throwback. A simpler time, maybe.
It was a simpler time, I guess, but it was also a time of a lot of excitement.
It's kind of cool to just go back to see what we were wearing, make fun of ourselves, and just realize that we should just start having fun again.
I think we need to stop chasing nostalgia and live in the present. 2026 will never be the same as 2016. Like, we're in a whole different climate. Just live in the now.
But what if you have the need to throw it back? And what's behind the sudden social media frenzy? Pop culture experts blame artificial intelligence.
You're looking at video and you're thinking, is this real? Is this picture real? In 2016, that wasn't even our thoughts. We posted photos. We didn't care if they were filtered. We were having fun. We were living our lives.
While psychologists point to a craving for human connection, something some of us in this new tech age seem to be longing for.
It's also necessary for us to to look back at the things that we overcame, the stressors, because it gives us an opportunity to see our internal resources, right? That was a crappy time. We probably never thought that we would overcome it, but look at us now. Look at us in 2026.
Oh my gosh. So searches are what? Up this year by more than 400%? I mean, why does everyone suddenly care about a decade ago?
400% this week alone. So I think part of it, right, is that nostalgia has never been more popular than it is right now. We've got the Scrubs revival set to air next month. We've got the Devil Wears Prada sequel showing up in May on the big screen. So nostalgia is so popular right now. And the other part of this is that folks really want to return to a time that was really playful. I mean, Pokemon Go to the Polls, what a time to be alive. We were also doing things like the Mannequin Challenge back in 2016. So social media was certainly a felt presence, but it wasn't so curated way it is now, right? People were using the Rio de Janeiro filter, which they're doing again now as part of this 2016 trend. So 1.7 million posts on TikTok alone with this 2016 challenge here.
Hey guys, it's Ro. With more than 20 million followers on social media, Rosanna Pansino has been making waves baking online for 15 years. She says today's more complex algorithms are making online content more robotic, and that the hashtag 2016 is about reclaiming online connection.
It was definitely more genuine. It was more real, and I think people connected to it more.
Who doesn't remember those cartoonish Snapchat filters immortalizing this duet by Jimmy Fallon and Ariana Grande? Speaking of music, in 2016, Taylor Swift was in her Bleachella era after sporting a platinum do at Coachella. Turns out we were feeling nostalgic in 2016 too. The hottest show on TV, The People versus O.J. Simpson. There were challenges in 2016, like the water bottle flip challenge and the mannequin challenge, where a group would gather and freeze, the opposite of Pokemon Go, when players were on the move hoping to catch Pikachu. Craig and Al were in Rio for the 2016 Summer Olympics. That's what's going on from here in Rio. Well, Savannah was making a life-changing announcement.
I am pregnant.
And bomber jackets, matte lipstick, and skinny jeans were fashionable, remember? Now in 2026, celebrities are all in on the way back trend. Charlie Puth, Kylie Jenner, and Reese Witherspoon all posted throwbacks. Even Elmo is remembering 2016 like it was yesterday.
And searches for those 2016 cartoonish Snapchat filters, they're up 613% since last year. So
Arthur, I'm not obsessed, to be clear, but if you've been doom scrolling on Instagram this past week, you may have noticed some of your followers maybe looking a little younger, shall we say? Let's call it So 2016, a nostalgic trend that has taken us way back to what some are calling the good old days.
2026 is the new 2016.
Oh,
You
it
heard
is?
it here
Yes.
first.
Okay. Yeah, those photos on Insta may look a little grainy, hairstyles dated, no filters on your face unless it was Snapchat. Popular clothing, athleisure, and retro. The top song?
You look that much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself.
Justin Bieber's Love Yourself. Oh, and Beyonce's Lemonade. Let's not forget about Kylie Jenner and her lip kits. Yeah, we're talking trends that were so 2016.
I think this 2016 trend has been percolating for a while now. I mean, for about a year or more, you've seen kids, Gen Z, copying the style of their parents and even younger, bomber jackets, frayed jeans, you know, even going back to things like Juicy Couture, which probably we'll start to see, you know, those posts in a few weeks. But there's something about living in nostalgia on social media.
The 2016 throwback trend on Instagram and TikTok has particularly millennials feeling a bit of nostalgia as we enter a new year. A decade ago, that feels oh so long ago.
2016, of course, was a big year for music. What were some of the most iconic releases and biggest hits? I'm trying to remember.
Well, that's one part of this trend that's super fun, too. People are soundtracking their posts now with songs that were popular back then. So we started the year with Adele at #1 singing Hello. And then Rihanna released a new album back in 2016. Remember when Rihanna released music? Me neither. Apparently, it was a decade ago it was happening. So she released Anti. Her song Work, of course, charted for the entirety of March and April. So that was a lot of fun. And then you had big hits from Bruno Mars. You had big hits from Drake and the Chainsmokers also charting for 2016. So it was a great year for music.
That was one of the highlights from 2016. It's hard to believe that was 10 years ago.
Way to keep it. People are finished, man. You know, and they think in their mind, you know, there's some type of escape, you know, to go back to 2016 on social media. And that's an escape for the people. And it shows you that they're trying to run away from the reality of prophecy that's selling into the earth, man. Okay? It don't work like that, man. And you're not going to heal Babylon, as the scriptures say. Let's go into, let's get that in the book of Jeremiah. All right? You're not going to heal Babylon by trying to bring back 2016 on the internet. This place is marked for judgment, man. Okay? This place is going to slide into chaos, okay? Great violence, okay? It didn't show you what the reality of where we at, man. You know? Well, at first it started off here in Jeremiah. I think there's I'll be 51. Okay, it's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50. Okay, and 51 and verse 8 says, "But suddenly Babylon too has fallen. Weep for her, give her medicine. Perhaps she can yet be healed." And this is what we're seeing people trying to do. They're trying to heal America, man. You know, and they think by doing a 10-year rewind, which 2016 wasn't just no great, you know. You see, it was still trending towards disaster. All right, it was just better than now. Okay, which that doesn't say much. Okay, but the Lord has the earth on the trajectory, okay, for judgment. This place is going into judgment, man. Okay, ain't no healing this place. This place is beyond healing, man. Okay, it's completely rebellious against Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay, and you see they try to do everything, okay, except reverence Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay, all these trends trying to go back and challenges and do this and do that, but no one is reverencing the Lord. That's the reason for the punishment. Okay, matter of fact, we're going to get that. It says we will have helped her if we could, but nothing can save her now. Okay, it don't matter if it's the Democrat or Republican, a man or woman that's president. None of that matters, man. It never mattered. Okay, it was always about the will of the Lord and what He wanted to do. Okay, and this place, all right, has earned, all right, the judgment spoken of in the scriptures, man, which is nuclear destruction. You know, and before the nuclear destruction, the worst time ever since the earth was. Okay, it's going to play out right here in America, man, because it's going to be the worst in America. Okay, the worst place to be during the time of judgment is going to be America, man. Okay, from the lead up to the climax of the nukes, man. You know, so the time before the nukes all the way to the climax of the Lord's anger, which is going to be by those nukes, man. America going to be the worst place to be. Okay, and on the flip side, also where the Lord is going to show the most power in preserving His elect, man. You know, and that's our faith, that's our hope. You know, hey, we can't wait for what's next. Okay, and these niggas trying to go backwards, showing you that the Lord, you know, he built the elect different, man. You know, He put something within the elect that's different, okay, from everyone else, man. Okay, to where the things that make them fearful make us excited, man. Okay, it says we will have helped her if we could, but nothing can save her now. Let her go, abandon her, return now to your own land, for her punishment reaches to the heavens. It is so great it cannot be measured, man. So America is responsible for so much wickedness. It can't be measured, man. Okay, and then they'll reach the highest courts, which is the courts of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay, and something going to be done, okay, about America, man. Okay, because you people, let me see. All right, you American people are proud as hell. You're rebellious against righteousness. Okay, you've been rebellious against the prophets. Okay, and now the Lord is going to get ready to judge, man. You see? So let's go to that might be Jeremiah 50. Okay, there's a judgment for this rebellion. You know, your leaders, okay, your leaders, your American leaders have led you to, all right, judgment, man. Okay, as you celebrate, you know, as we seen of late, when America did what it did in Venezuela, you people celebrated, man. You people are guilty, man. Okay, you're in alliance with America, all right, going around and terrorizing the earth. Okay, killing, robbing, looting. Okay, you're with it. You're with the American regime, the anti-Messiah regime. Okay, you people are allied with it. So now there's a judgment coming. Okay, you ball with America, you're gonna fall with it. Okay? Jeremiah 15:29 said, call together the archers against Babylon. So the Lord is calling the archers, man, which are these nuclear capable countries, man. Okay, this is what's happening. While you trying to go back and use a filter from 2026, all right, it shows you that, nigga, you 10 years older, you was an adult in 2016, and you 10 years older, and you want to go back and put dog ears on your post. Okay? You want to crank up Snapchat again, man. Okay? And you Americans, you see, America produces people that never grow the hell up, man. A very childish, immature society, man. Okay? It said, call the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, all you nuclear capable countries, man. Camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she have done, do unto her. For she have been proud, and that includes you day-to-day American citizens, man. Okay? For she have been proud against the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, against the Holy One of Israel. Okay? So that's what's being prepared, all right, for you American citizens, man. For the landmass of America and you people in it. Okay? You proud Americans. Okay? You proud Edomites in America, man. You see? They have this, you know, this entitlement like no other people on the earth. Okay? That proud look, man, finna get, all right, addressed through prophecy. Okay? So from your higher ups to your, you know, your local Edomite, there's a judgment. And for all you heathens and 2/3 of Jacob, okay, that's caught up in the mix, man. You're going to get caught up in this judgment, man. Okay? So I want to go from there to go into some things that's happening, okay, over there concerning prophecy, man. Okay? While a nigga trying to throw back to 2016, okay, just to go into things that's happening in real time with prophecy, man. All right, so you go here because as you're trying to revamp, okay, the good times, okay, your government is becoming more draconian on your ass, man. Okay, so now they're going to push more legislation to protect the small hats. And see, the American government does way more to protect the small hats, okay, than its own citizens, man. Okay, and see, you people should be in the uproar about a lot of things that your government is doing. Okay, but you worried about who had the #1 song in 2016, man. Okay, you see, you Americans have enjoyed, you know, the first world privilege, having the world reserve currency, having the #1 military. So you've been carefree. You've been allowed to be careless. You know, you're not under the threat of an invading military. Okay, the wars that America fights are, you know, thousands of miles away. Okay, so you don't have to deal with the reality of war. Okay, so you Americans have been, you know, so privileged, and, you know, allowed to be so careless. Okay, but now what we're finna see, what we're getting ready to see, man, is that same American government that terrorized, all right, the earth. Now that American government is finna terrorize you people. Okay, and it's gonna be the actions of the small hats that's gonna get you American nuked. Oh man, the Lord got this narrative playing out beautiful, man. Poetic justice, man. Okay, so let's play this.
Civil rights of Jewish students and Jewish. We have secured a $200 million settlement with Columbia University for violating the civil rights of Jewish students and Jewish employees. We've secured a $75 million settlement with Northwestern University for anti-Semitic conduct. We've secured a $60 million settlement with Cornell that includes provisions to halt anti-Semitic conduct And we've launched a full investigation into University of California's system for systematic anti-Semitism.
Remember when Donald Trump said this about who controls him, and it was the Jewish Zionist donor Sheldon Adelson?
Just as I promised, I recognized Israel's eternal capital and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. Jerusalem became the capital. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. You know, Miriam and Sheldon would come into the White House probably almost more than anybody outside of people that work there. And they were always after, and as soon as I'd give them something, always for Israel. As soon as I'd give them something, they'd want something else. I said, give me a couple of weeks, will you please? But I gave them the Golan Heights, and they never even asked for it. You know, for 72 years.
Okay, so remember, so that's, and here he is saying...
Miriam Adelson, you want to come up here? Come up here, Miriam. Miriam gave my campaign, indirectly, 250 million. She was number one. When somebody can give you 250 million, I think that we should give her the opportunity to say hello. And Miriam, make it quick.
So there he is, just telling you he's bought by the Adelsons. They gave him $250 million. That's it. And so here's now Pam Bondi being introduced, his attorney general, being introduced by his biggest donor. And let's watch, shall we?
Anti-Semitism has been allowed to grow unchecked in this country. Too many institutions have abdicated their moral responsibility to speak up. Too many so-called leaders have stayed quiet. Actions have consequences, and inaction has consequences too.
We're Phoenix Energy, a family-owned oil company focused on unleashing American oil from North Dakota and Montana.
We've sued violent protesters under the FACE Act for intimidating Jewish Americans worshiping at synagogues.
So she's using the face. She's admitting, okay, here we are. I'm doing the bidding of my donors, the Zionist donors, and we're suing American citizens at the behest of Zionists.
They felt intimidated at synagogue.
So yeah, so you have, you know, Pam Bondi. She's the Attorney General. You know, she's like the lawyer for the White House, and they're making legislation and laws to protect the small hats, man. Okay, so here it is. You know, I say you American people. You know, as you're, you know, trying to find a simpler time. All right, your government is getting ready to come down with the hammer. Okay, and they're constantly putting more and more laws and legislation in place that make you a criminal for conduct that they don't approve of. All right, and they can enforce, okay, these laws, okay, with harshness, man. It's getting draconian. Okay, two horns like the lamb, and it's beginning to speak like a dragon. Okay, so it don't get no easier, man. Your government, okay, is getting ready to drop a hammer. Okay, and your government is waging a war against you. ICE agents are in the troops. Okay, ICE agents are, you know, are boots on the ground now, and that's the tip of the iceberg. Okay, because they still have UN troops that they haven't, you know, really put out there. They still got mercenaries. Okay, because they want you people to react, man. That's why they keep unaliving you. Okay, and they make it to where they, and they're constantly pushing the narrative like these people are innocent, that they're unaliving, because they want a reaction, man. Okay, because they already got something prepared to counter with. Okay, so here it is, your government in every turn. Okay, American institutions are being sued because they don't defend the small hats. Okay, so American citizens are being sued based on not defending small hats, man. Okay, small hats done took over TikTok. Okay. That happened, you know, a few days ago, so it's going to be interesting to see how that play out, you know. So you have, you know, these ICE agents, like I say, they're unaliving their will, showing you that they got all immunity, okay, the consequence, you see. And then when you go overseas, let's go here. When you go overseas, because what we've been seeing these last couple of days. So the strike on Iran was called off. You know, the small hats in America, you know, was rumored to be getting ready to do a joint strike on Iran. So they backed off from it. But even though they backed off from their strike, you have a lot of tension still in that region, man. A lot of things are being put in place. China, you know, done sent its biggest arms, shipment that they've ever sent to Iran. Russia been sending, you know, a lot of high-tech weaponry to Iran. Alone Russia has, you know, experts, I think in 42 cities in Iran, military experts on how to run, you know, their technology, on how to use their technology that Russia is dropping off and training the Iranians on how to use their technology. Okay, so you got that happening, but then you got American warships, position themselves in strike position in Iran. This is happening now, real time as we speak. Okay, so it's a hotbed over there. Okay, you had Iran, they released a video, a simulation video of them sinking a U.S. aircraft carrier. You know, as a way of deterrence to let America know, like, look, this is where we at with it. You know, whatever you do towards us, this is what the response gonna be. They want to deter it. Okay, so they dancing around each other in the ring over there, man. You see, ain't no going backwards. Prophecy is full throttle. You see, so let's play this.
Kataib Hezbollah says it is ready to fight in defense of Iran and is urging resistance fighters worldwide to prepare for a comprehensive conflict. The warning comes as tensions spike between Tehran and Washington following fresh U.S. military threats. Late Sunday night, Iraq's Kataib Hezbollah released a statement that reads less like a warning and more like a mobilization order. The Iran-aligned armed group declared its readiness to enter any future war in defense of the Islamic Republic. Its message was aimed not just at regional actors, but at what it called resistance fighters across the world. In the statement,
So you got all these proxies, you know, these Iranian proxies on standby. All right, because these American military bases, they're surrounded, you know, by these Iranian proxies, man. All right, so what we're seeing in these Iranian proxies being, you know, put on high alert. Okay, so they, you know, you got both sides in go mode, just like they staring each other down. You know, like before a fight, you know, they have the weigh in. Okay, the face off. Okay, so this is their type of atmosphere between America and Iran. You know, it's a face off. Okay. It's like they looking at each other eye to eye. Okay, so let's play this.
Kataib Hezbollah urged those willing to confront what it described as the front of disbelief and hypocrisy to prepare for a comprehensive war. The group portrayed Iran as a fortress for the Muslim world, a state it said has supported the oppressed for more than 4 decades, regardless of sect, race, or nationality. The language quickly turned confrontational. The militia accused Iran's enemies, naming Israel, of seeking to subjugate or destroy the country. According to the statement, these forces aim not only to weaken Iran, but to undermine moral and religious values across the region and beyond. The warning to Iran's adversaries was explicit. The group said any war against the Islamic Republic would not be easy, promising sudden and overwhelming consequences. The statement claimed Iran's enemies would be erased, declaring bluntly, "Nothing of you will remain in our region." The statement even referenced the possibility of so-called martyrdom operations, signaling a willingness to escalate beyond conventional warfare. The timing is critical. The statement was issued amid rising tensions between Iran and the United States after President Donald Trump threatened military action against Tehran.
The Middle East is holding its breath. As a U.S. aircraft carrier strike group steams toward the region, Iran is sending an unmistakable warning to Washington. Any attack will be treated as all-out war. A senior Iranian official, speaking on condition of anonymity with Reuters, says Tehran is watching closely as American military assets move into position. The message is stark. There will be no room for interpretation this time. No shades of gray, no limits. According to the official, Iran hopes the growing U.S. military presence is not meant for confrontation. But hope, he says, does not equal trust. Iran's armed forces are now on high alert, preparing for what he calls the worst-case scenario. And the red line is clear. This time, the official says, any attack, limited, unlimited, surgical, kinetic, whatever they call it, will be treated as an all-out war against us. The response, he warns, would be severe, decisive, and meant to settle the conflict once and for all. The warning comes as U.S. President Donald Trump confirms that an American armada is heading toward Iran. While Trump says he hopes force will not be necessary, he renews sharp warnings to Tehran against killing protesters and against restarting its nuclear program. Iran, for its part, rejects intimidation. If American forces violate Iran's sovereignty or territorial integrity, the response will be immediate, the official says, though he stops short of revealing exactly how Tehran would retaliate. What he does make clear is Iran's mindset. A nation under constant military threat, he argues, has no choice but to ensure that every capability at its disposal can be used to push back and to restore balance against anyone who dares to strike. This is not the first time U.S. forces have surged into the Middle East during heightened tensions. Historically, Washington has described many of these deployments as defensive, but memories are fresh. Just last year, a similar buildup preceded U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear program, a moment that pushed the region to the edge. Now, with warships approaching and rhetoric hardening, the stakes are higher than ever, because if the next move is misread, it may not be a warning shot. It may be war.
Traditional dropshipping is dead. What we need to do is register with AutoDS. The quickest, easy.
The skies over the Middle East fell suddenly silent. Late on Friday, major international airlines made an extraordinary decision, canceling dozens of flights to Israel and key Gulf destinations in a coordinated wave of suspensions. Routes to Tel Aviv vanished from departure boards. Flights to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates were grounded. For travelers across Europe and North America, plans collapsed overnight. KLM, Air France, British Airways, Lufthansa, Swiss International Airlines, names synonymous with global travel, all pulled back at once. Air Canada canceled 4 flights into Israel. United Airlines followed suit. Airlines rarely make such moves lightly. The financial cost is immense, the disruption enormous. Yet the decisions appeared synchronized, suggesting access to shared intelligence pointing to escalating danger. As planes stayed on the ground, a warning echoed from Ankara. Turkey's foreign minister cautioned that Israel is seeking an opportunity to strike Iran. His words landed as tensions between Israel and Iran intensified, not only through proxy conflicts, but through direct military confrontations that have pushed the region closer to the brink. At Ben Gurion Airport, the impact was immediate. All international operations were grounded until at least Friday morning, as per reports. Israel's flag carrier, El Al, suspended flights indefinitely. Even domestic air travel was halted. Israeli airspace, usually crowded and constant, appeared eerily empty. Passengers.
Yeah, man. So it's, it's very it's a very sensitive time because it's just the atmosphere of a major escalation, you know, with these two powers. And mainly, like I said, with America and Iran. You know, in Iran, they at the point to where, okay, look, anything y'all do, you know, they don't care if it's a drone, if y'all send a balloon, okay? If y'all send a balloon off that warship, you know, we gonna look at that as aggression. Okay? So Iran is like, look, we not finna play, you know, the word game, you know, the plausible deniability. They not gonna do none of that. Okay, we just gonna go. We know it's up there, you know, like Jake in New Orleans, it's up there. You know, we don't try to talk. We don't try to have peace deals. You niggas done blew up the hotel. You know, like nah, niggas. We at the point now. Okay, for Iran, they looking at Iran is speaking from a perspective now. Their mindset is any type of military aggression that come from their way, we send the shit back immediately. Iran posture, they told, okay, America, we got our hand on the trigger. We know y'all boats, we know y'all Navy coming. We got our hand on the trigger. So the response gonna be immediately. Ain't gonna be 2 weeks later. We gotta assess and investigate. Iran is saying, no, the response gonna be immediately. When y'all do what y'all gonna do, we immediately gonna respond. Okay, so what you have, all this uncertainty, you have these airlines not knowing, you know, if the airspace gonna be safe. So a lot of flights have been canceled in their region, from Saudi Arabia to the UAE, Qatar, Tel Aviv. Okay, and you have to be super stupid to trying to fly to Tel Aviv in this climate, man. People are stupid, man. Why would you want to go to Tel Aviv right now? Okay, and you just look, you know, it's a dumb, probably a dumb American that just want to travel. You know, why the hell would you want to go to Tel Aviv now, man? Showing you, you know, it's just a goddamn woman with no awareness. Okay, talking about her flight got canceled. I don't know if it said it yet, but it was a woman. Her flight got canceled from one airport to Tel Aviv, and she go try to go to another airline to go to Tel Aviv. How dumb can you be, man? Okay, with all this, you know, all this war tension in the air, and Tel Aviv gonna be the #1 target. Okay, but you got dumb, stupid people flying to a target. That's how unaware people are of reality, man.
Were left scrambling. One traveler flying from Amsterdam to Tel Aviv watched their KLM flight canceled, then rushed to book with El Al, only to see that option disappear as well. Across Europe, airlines extended suspensions through the weekend, cutting overnight routes and daytime services alike. Behind the scenes, the stakes are rising fast. The Israel-Iran rivalry has long played out in the shadows. Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Israeli strikes on Iranian-linked targets across the region. But now, the conflict feels dangerously close to open escalation. This comes as in Washington, the rhetoric sharpened. U.S. President Donald Trump spoke of a massive fleet moving toward Iran, saying he hoped he would not need to use it.
We're watching Iran. We're watching Iran. We know we have a lot of ships going that direction, just in case. We have a big flotilla going in that direction, and we'll see what happens. It's a big force. We have a big force going toward Iran. I'd rather not see anything happen, but we're watching them very closely. I stopped 837 hangings on Thursday. They would have been dead. Every one of them would have been hung. This is like from 1,000 years ago. This is an ancient culture. Very smart people, by the way, but it's an ancient culture. 837, mostly young men, were going to be hung on Thursday. And I said, if you hang those people, you're going to be hit harder than you've ever been hit. It'll make what we did to your Iran nuclear look like peanuts. And an hour before this horrible thing was going to take place, they canceled it. And they actually said they canceled it. They didn't postpone it. They canceled it. So that was a good sign. But we have an armada. We have a massive fleet heading in that direction. And maybe we won't have to use it. We'll see.
U.S. officials confirmed the USS Abraham Lincoln and guided missile destroyers were heading to the Middle East alongside potential new air defense systems to protect American bases. The situation remains fluid. Airlines say they are reassessing conditions hour by hour, but one thing is clear. When the world's biggest carriers ground their fleets at the same time, it is no longer business as usual. It is a warning.
Yeah, man. So the tensions are high. You know, the stakes are high. You know, we'll see. You know, but everything, you know, is being put in position. You know, Trump, you know, which he's gonna take that opportunity to showcase, you know, to beat his chest. All right, and he couldn't tell you nothing about the operations and the capabilities of any of those American assets. Okay, he couldn't tell you how, you know, those air defense systems are going to stop. Okay, those hypersonic missiles. Okay, he can't tell you none of that. You see, but he played his part as his character. You know, as this great conquering, you know, American president, this great, mighty, powerful American president. But the point of it all, okay, is that the tensions are high in that region. You know, so it's a powder keg. You know, so just following that to kind of see how it's going to escalate. You know, like say it can simmer down. Okay, because they can be out there for months. You know, they could be out there all year and not do nothing, just be posted. Okay, so that's just one step. Okay, they just put themselves one step closer to the war. Before the actual war, all pieces are being put in place, man. Okay, so let's man, we'll end it with this one. The brother got it's the brother, a prince of the power, Isaiah 13:11. It said, "I will punish the world for their evil." And see, part of the world being punished is this war. Okay, because this war is going to cause a lot of destruction and death, man. Poverty. Okay, war escalates poverty, man, because so many resources are being used so quick, and then you have, you know, shipping lanes destroyed. Okay, no more, you know, free shipping. You know, no more protected shipping of goods from one place to another, and that's on land, air, and sea. You know, war is going to cause a major disruption, okay, to goods being moved. You know, so that's going to play in the punishment of this place too. And it says, "And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I'll cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible, man." Okay, and that goes from the higher up, the elites, to the common everyday citizen. You know, that's walking around the earth with all this pride, man. The Lord finna judge pride in the earth. Okay, and this is what we see trending. Okay, this is what you know. That's a social media term, trending. Well, the only thing that's trending is prophecy and judgment, man. Okay, that's what everything is trending to: prophecy and judgment, and mercy for the elect. Okay, so yeah, I'll leave it there. Just want to get into those things, Lord will. You know, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. And we give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushua, Bahasham, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations, hopefully. Shalom.